What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings be upon you all. The gameplay you're watching is a 2v2 competitive match. I found these couple of guys in the lobby. They challenged us to 2v2, so we're like, alright, let's play a bit of competitive rule set. And here we go. So what you'll notice in this gameplay is actually I play horribly. I get absolutely backpacked. We win in a thriller right at the end, but I'll let you guys see that as we go. So first of all, I spoke in my first and second video that we want to talk about some serious stuff. So let's talk about some serious stuff. Let's get right down into it, into the dirty and the nitty gritty. What we see in the States right now happening over in Dallas and all across the States with the cop killings and the cops killing the blacks and everything else that's going on over there. It is absolutely crazy. Do not think for a second, not for a second, that this couldn't happen over here in Australia. The only difference between the US and Australia is our gun laws. We do not have high-powered rifles just sitting around for any person willy-nilly. You know, military-style hardware. I mean, who has? Let's be honest. Who has a sniper rifle sitting in their backyard? Like, who just has, you know, an automatic machine pistol hanging out in their gun safe inside their house, you know, where they don't actually carry a proper license as we have to have in Australia? But it's not even that. It's this ingrown sense of racism and hatred for each other, where some people feel, and note some people feel that they have this insanely greater purpose in life than the other person of a different color or race or religion or anything else that may come in between. That's just simply not the case. I'm going to tell you something, people out there in YouTube land. I said peace and blessings be upon you all at the start for a reason. So anything you take from this, please, if it's beneficial, it didn't actually come from me. But you are not any better. No single person on YouTube. You could have 9 million subs, or you could have 20 subs, or you could have no subs. It doesn't matter. You are not at all a better person, no matter how better a COD player or video game player or money maker you are. It doesn't make you a better human being. What makes you a decent human being? Like, just to be a human being is a start. To be a decent human being, you have to show courage and commitment to, and compassion and empathy towards your fellow human being. That is what makes a decent human being. That's not what makes a great human being. A great human being does it consistently. And to do it consistently, it takes time and effort and practice and patience. You're not going to get it at 15 years old. You may not get it to the end of your life. But the best you can do is try to be decent and civil. This is where the problem has all started. The systemic idea of 200 years, effectively, of oppression of a race within one country. You know, there was that saying, you know, every force has an equal and opposite reaction of every action. Or something along those lines. This is what we're seeing, is 200 years of crash back, like just flying back in this tirade of hate, in this tirade of response. Do I justify it? No, not even a little bit. Is it worth justifying? Absolutely not. Indeed, the killing of any human being, it actually mentions in the Quran, any killing of an innocent human being is as if you have killed all of society, every single human being on the face of the planet that ever lived, ever will come, and ever was. And to save one person, one single innocent soul in this world is as if you have saved every single person in humanity's history. So to turn around and say that, you know, what they're doing is justified or it's not justified is not up for me to say. But I can tell you right now that even in our own country, we can sit there and say, oh, we're so lucky in Australia not to have that. We're so lucky in Australia that, you know, oh, there's no racism and stuff like that. I hate to tell you this, Pauline Hansen just got elected to the Senate based on racist policies. Note that again. Pauline Hansen just got elected to Australian government. She'll be sitting in the Senate deciding on legislation that passes that will affect everyday Australians like me and you. 2 from her party have been elected to the Senate based on racist policies. On backwards policies. So a screeching banshee will now be one of the deciders of your future, of what legislation affects you, on what affects our economy. And this is just one person. But somehow she got elected out of everyone within that voted in her electorate and further wide and within her state, she got somehow in. This is the best we have to offer. I thought at one stage that when you looked at politics, this is exactly like the pinnacle of the people. They were the leadership of the people. They produced the people's ideas. They put them, the people gave the ideas and they put them into practice. I thought that's what politicians were there to do. It turns out now we can just elect anyone, absolutely. By the way, as you can see, we're 3-2 down on the gameplay, and somehow Hans misses that kill, takes us 4-2 down. But what we're seeing now is this shift towards anti-Muslim and anti-immigration. We're seeing a shift towards almost like a white Australia policy. And if all of those that have done any research on the white Australia policy, it is the most barbaric thing to happen to Australia, bar the genocide of the indigenous upon European settlement. So besides that, which is probably the worst thing that has ever happened in Australia, let's be honest. We've had hurricanes decimate Darwin all those Christmases ago. That wasn't as bad as the genocide of the indigenous. We wiped out 90%, as in white Europeans when they settled, wiped out 90% of the indigenous population. Oh, but we don't have that problem in Australia. No, because what we have now is a set of laws and values that generally a majority of Australians actually believe in and actually are willing to follow and truly think that this could be the way forward for our country, because we don't want to be like other countries. But here we are now, as I said, electing these bigoted people that are anti this and anti that. I mean, let's just talk about halal for a minute. If you want to know something about halal, I'm going to give you a quick 30-second introduction. Halal in Arabic literally means permissible. It doesn't mean anything to do with food. It just means permissible. So the way you dress and behave and the food that you do eat and the way that you speak and the way you conduct your business and all that must be, as a Muslim, halal. That is exactly the meaning there, permissible. So everything you do within your religion of Islam, as a Muslim myself, has to be halal. I must conduct myself within the Sharia, within the religious jurisprudence of Islam, and that would be considered halal. As you can see now, it's 5-4. The comeback is on. By this stage, by the way, in the gameplay, just to segue a little bit, we were like, we might actually win this yet. Nonetheless, back to what I was talking about. Halal being permissible. So to turn around and say, we're going to ban halal. We're going to ban the halal labeling. You are going to wipe billions from an economy. Billions. Billions of dollars. From one economy, people will lose jobs. Families will lose homes. Because you simply wanted to ban something because you had no understanding of it. You had only fear, and that is all you raised. And Australia, we are so lucky in some ways that, we don't have these shootings and things like this. But do not ever forget the things like Port Arthur massacre, the genocide of the indigenous. Do not think that we are that different. So, in wrapping up, guys, please show empathy to each other, be kind to each other, understand you are not better than the other person. You never are, you never will be. Indeed, we are all one human being. We are all one piece of humanity. And as you can see, this is the final kill cam coming up, so I'm going to wrap up here. All the best to everyone out there. Please be decent to each other and make sure that we remember that we are all human beings. So until the next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings be upon all of you. Thank you. See you next time.